So, sir, my next question to you is, since you are an expert on hundreds of scriptures, but your greatest emphasis is on Bhagavad Gita, why is it that you say studying Gita is so important for leading a life of awareness and one pointedness?
Because of the setting of the Gita.
Yes, sir.
It's a real life, practical situation that most people will find easy to resonate with, identify with. You see, purely academically, purely from the point of view of philosophical elucidation, there are books, scriptures that are probably clearer than the Bhagavad Gita. But when it comes to utility, and impact, there's hardly anyone that exceeds the Gita. And that impact is because of the setting of the Gita, the fact that something very worldly is at stake, the fact that the disciple is very reluctant, these things make the Gita appear like something set in a household kind of background. An everyday setting that everybody can identify with. If you look at the Upanishads, and I'm picking up the Upanishads because Gita belongs to the class of literature called Vedanta, and besides the Gita, Vedanta includes Upanishads. So if you take Upanishads, there the disciple is already almost, if I may use the word, converted. And it's not too difficult preaching to the converted, right? The disciple has come to the teacher on his own, is already asking very sublime, very profound questions. So the disciple has already done more than half of the job of the teacher. The disciple is not only not reluctant, but is actively willing to receive guidance. And we do not see that much is at stake for the disciple. The disciple only stands to gain. The disciple says, I have come to you, I want knowledge. And the teacher says, fine, I see that you are a nice, young, sincere fellow, I'll speak to you. So it's a very pleasant setting, pleasant, idyllic, and there is hardly any stress there, right? And in contrast to the Upanishads, in the Bhagavad Gita, the recipient of the discourse is not very willing. In fact, he is quite resistant. He is resistant to the point that at a couple of places he almost accuses the teacher, Krishna, of misguiding him. And that is understandable, because a lot is at stake for Arjun. He's fighting, and he's being told to actually kill his brothers, friends, relatives,
Yes, sir.
teacher, all the people he has been very closely related to. Right? So this is something that the common man can more easily identify with. On one hand, there is wisdom and knowledge in the form of Krishna. On the other hand, there is attachment, there is fear, and a lot of social conditioning. If you look at Arjun, how is it, using what kind of arguments does he resist Krishna? It's quite interesting. In the first chapter itself, he says, if I fight, then there will be trouble related to caste. That's one of the first arguments that Arjun presents. Also, it appears Arjun does not think too highly of women. He says women will go astray and will get corrupted if all the menfolk perish. So Arjun is talking of caste. Arjun is talking condescendingly of women. And Arjun appears quite superstitious too. He says, if out of pratilom mating, you have people being born, then they will not be able to partake in certain rituals that
Yes, sir.
offer peace to the souls of the dead ancestors.
Okay, sir.
And Krishna has to fight all of this. So if you see, who is it that Arjun is representing? Arjun is representing the common man not only of those times, but the common man of today actually. The common man who is superstitious. And also another thing that Arjun is quite worried of is reputation. He says, what will happen to me? What will people think of me? So Arjun is the common man who is in knots of familial attachment, who values blood relations a lot, who has a certain attitude towards women, who has a certain attitude towards caste, right? Who is superstitious. So that's the tough nut Krishna is dealing with. Because Arjun represents the common man of today, therefore, all the things that Krishna tells Arjun are applicable to and useful for the common man of today. That's why I say that the Gita is a more useful scripture than the others we have even in Vedanta. Are you getting it? These are
Yes,
the
sir.
problems that people face today, right? So the problems
Yes,
of
sir.
Arjun, the mindset of Arjun, the situation and the attitude of Arjun is the attitude of today. Arjun is attached.
Yes,
Who is
sir.
not? Arjun does not know what to do. And that kind of dilemma is
Yes, sir.
ubiquitous. Who is not torn between choices? We all are, right?
Yes, sir.
So we all are Arjuns.
Yes, sir.
And Arjun has been deeply socially conditioned. Oh, so we all are,
Yes, sir.
right? Arjun carries a certain attitude towards the various castes and the other gender. So do we all. So the problems that Arjun is representing are problems of this age as well. That's why the solution that Krishna offers in the form of Gita is a solution to this age as well. Getting it? Arjun is not talking of problems that existed then and do not exist today. All the problems that Arjun has are problems of today as well, are they not? So that's the reason why the message of the Gita is so timeless. Right? As long as there is the mind will create distinctions, boundaries, needless separations in the form of caste, in the form of religious denominations, or gender is an all-time thing, we all know. And obviously the first separation is my family versus the rest of the world. So Arjun is thinking of all those things. And even when you talk of your family, there is the core inner family and then the extended family. So on one hand, Arjun has to think of his wife and the way she was ridiculed and humiliated. So he cannot let go of that memory, that scarring memory. On the other hand, he also has fond memories related to Bhishma Pitama, who brought him up, the granddaddy, who would play with Arjun the kid, and Drona, the teacher, and Arjun was a little boy when he was sent to Acharya Drona, and Arjun does not know. Look at him. He has the agonies and sufferings that his brothers went through. Lakshagraha is something he cannot forget. He cannot forget the several years, more than a decade they spent in the forest, and then the year they spent in hiding incognito. He cannot forget all those things. And he cannot forget the injustice he thinks the Kauravas are meting out to him. He cannot forget all those things. And there are memories from the other side as well. And this is the de facto situation of every worldly man, right?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes on one side there is the wife, on the other side there is the brother. That's a very common situation, is it not?
Yes, sir.
Every household has this story, right? The wife versus the brother. And the man in the middle is simply stuck, or you could say torn.
Yes, sir.
So, if you can understand the situation of Arjun, you will immediately say, oh, that's not his situation, that's my situation.
Okay.
Not his, but mine. Arjun used to be very angry at Duryodhana and the rest of the Kauravas. And time and again he said, let the battle begin. I'll destroy them in a moment. And that was before the battle actually began. And now that the battle is about to begin, Arjun has cold feet. He tells Krishna, I cannot even lift the Gandiv, the bow. So that's a situation we all experience, right? Don't we? What appears very attractive one moment, very compelling one moment, becomes a horrible thing to do when the moment really comes. And so, even before you go into the solutions that Krishna is offering, you must go into the situation Arjun is in. The more you see your own predicament in Arjun, the more you see your own face in Arjun, the more useful the Bhagavad Gita will be to you. And I'll repeat, Arjun is very relatable. Very relatable. Though the irony has been that people talk of what Sri Krishna says, they do not talk of the one to whom Sri Krishna says all those things. And that's the reason why the message of Krishna often goes wasted upon most people. Unless you become the one to whom those words are addressed, how will those words ever reach you? And you don't have to actually become that one. You are that one. You are Arjun. The Gita is addressed to you. But people do not go through the right process when they are with the Gita. They start thinking that of utmost importance is Krishna's message. No, this will sound surprising. But even more important than Krishna's message is your honest admission that you are Arjun. If you are not Arjun, then Krishna might be lobbing gems and diamonds, but you will not be able to take them, lap them, because they'll not be for you. Right? What's of more use to you? A random packet of diamonds? Or just one diamond in a packet with your name? Please tell me. Please tell me. What is of more value to you? an entire shop of jewelry, or just one item? Huh? A simple ring or a chain with your name on it. Please tell me. That entire shop of diamonds might have great value, but it has no value for you because, great things. So what? You don't get anything from there. That's the reason why the world has failed Gita. The Gita is there, but you are not Arjun. So the Gita does not come to you. A great packet of valuable diamonds has arrived, but it does not carry your name. So you get nothing from that. Or do you get anything? No, nothing. First of all, ensure that you are Arjun.
Yes, sir.
Writing your name is very important. One fellow actually flunked the exams. I'm talking to a student, so this example might be relevant. He wrote a great answer sheet for 3 hours and then submitted it without mentioning his name or roll number. That's what we do to the Gita as well. A great scripture, but without your name, is of no use to you. Again and again, ask yourself, what is my problem? Why must I go to the Gita? Is the message of Krishna relevant to me at all? The process must be inside out. Gita is not a general purpose medicine. You must know your ailment a bit clearly. And then you will find Krishna talking to you in a very personal way. And that's the reason I love the Gita. Its utility, its relatability. Truth coming down to speak to you. Truth coming close to you to hold your hand. It's another matter that we still manage to evade the truth. But the Gita is such a moving document of the compassion that truth exhibits. The disciple is unwilling also probably not exactly competent. And yet the teacher in his compassion is continuously at the disciple. Trying this way, that way. And it's a very human thing, when you look at the very effort that Krishna is making. It's a very human thing.
Yes, sir.
you come across Krishna less as somebody omnipotent and more as somebody experiencing very carnal helplessness. In Gita, there is hardly any omnipotence or extraordinariness displayed by Krishna. No, we don't see that. Instead, several times in each chapter, we see how helpless Krishna is.
Yes, sir.
We find the greatest arguments falling flat. We find ignorance and attachment defeating the highest words possible to be uttered. We find weakness lording over strength exactly because it is weak. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is an epic struggle, and Krishna is the struggler. So you can relate with Krishna as well. There is a time when you are Arjun and you are being helped. And there comes a time when you are Krishna and you are trying to help. And you find your attempts to help all hitting a dead wall. Everything that you throw at the other one so that he might be helped bounces back at you. I've often been moved to tears when I see how hard Krishna is trying. And one feels like asking, why must the right thing be so difficult? Why must ignorance and nonsense be so powerful? How is being stupid an advantage? And it indeed is in this world. But why must it be so? One feels like questioning the entire order of existence itself. The ending has a bit of romance in it. Arjun yields. Krishna succeeds. That's a bit fairy tale-ish. Does not always happen. But that's probably needed. To enhance the utility of the Gita. People anyway don't want to come to knowledge. And if you have a scripture that depicts knowledge failing in a worldly battlefield, then people will have an additional reason to not to come to knowledge. So, Krishna had to succeed and Arjun had to win the war. Though that might not always happen. It all tugs at your heartstrings. Huh? It's actually a song, Gita. A song as much of melancholy as of wisdom.
Yes, sir.
I love this song. Yes.
So thank you, sir, for your valuable time for this session. This was all from my end. We are highly obliged to have you here, sir.